scary. There's been some reporting on a story about a test user. So Facebook has said it takes two to tango. So Nick Clegg wrote a post back in March saying, don't blame us for the extreme content you see on Facebook. You chose your friends, you chose your interests. It takes two to tango. When you make a brand new account and you follow some mainstream interests, for example, Fox News, Trump, Melania, it will lead you very rapidly to QAnon. It will lead you very rapidly to white genocide content. Yeah. But this isn't just true on the right, it's true on the left as well. Yeah. These systems lead to amplification and division. And I think you're right. Like, it's a question of, like, the system wants to find the content that will make you engage more, and that is extreme polarizing content.
Yeah. I think to claim as Nick Clegg did in that situation, that it's two tango, it's almost like it's your fault that you're seeing all this stuff, is again a massive misrepresentation of the way the company actually works.
Facebook is very good at dancing with data. They have very good communicators, and the reality is, like, the business model is leading them to dangerous actions.
Yeah. So if actually, if it's two to tango, the other party is Facebook, not another user. Actually, sort of.
Yes.
On fake accounts, we heard from Sophie Zhang last week about her work identifying networks of inauthentic activity. Based on your work at Facebook, how big a problem do you think that is on things like civil integrity around elections? You know, I mean, in some of Sophie's evidence, I mean, we're talking networks of hundreds of thousands of accounts that have been taken down. And how much of a problem is it in your area of work?
I'm extremely worried about fake accounts, and I want to give you guys some context on a taxonomy around fake accounts. So there are bots, so these things are automated. Facebook's reasonably good at detecting bots. Like, it's not perfect, but it's reasonably good. Then there are things called manually driven fake accounts. So a manually driven fake account is, for example, there are cottage industries in certain pockets of the world. There's certain parts of Pakistan, there's certain parts of Africa. There's certain pockets where people have realized that you can pay a child $1 to play with an account, like a 12-year-old, to be a fake 35-year-old for a month. And during that window, you will have passed the window of scrutiny at Facebook, and you will have looked like a real human because you are a real human. And that account can be resold to someone else because it is now looks like a real human account. And those accounts, there's at least 100,000 of them among the, there's 800,000, I believe, or back when I left, so this is May, there were approximately 800,000 Facebook connectivity accounts. So these are accounts where Facebook is subsidizing your internet. Among those, there were 100,000 of these manually driven fake accounts that were discovered by a colleague of mine. They were being used for some of the worst offenses on the platform. And I think there is a huge problem around the level of investment Facebook has done in detecting these accounts and preventing them from spreading harm on the platform.
How confident are you that the number of active users on Facebook is accurate, that those people are real people?
I think there's interesting things around the general number. So as we talked about before, this is about distribution of things. Now on social networks, things aren't necessarily evenly allocated. So Facebook has published a number of, I believe, 11%. They believe 11% of its accounts are not people, like they're duplicates. Amongst new accounts, they believe the number is closer to 60%, but that has never been disclosed, in my awareness, in a public statement. And so there's this question of, if investors are interpreting the value of the company based on a certain number of new accounts every month, and 60% of those are not actually new people, they're overinflating the value of the company.